Hello and welcome to the Alula webinar. My name is Kevin Hoffman. I'm the Content Marketing Manager for Alula. And today we're talking about our new Connect Plus kits and the power of pre-enrollment. First, before we get started, I see there are a few people new to Alula here, so I just wanted to remind you guys of our focus. We are 100% partner focused. We only sell through the professional security channel through dealers like you. We are an efficient end-to-end platform. What that means is that we're offering not just the hardware, but also the interactive services. And it's key that because of we're able to do that, that we're able to have these pre-enrolled kits and make it so easy to set up. We have solutions for both new installs and for takeovers, and especially for sunsets. We're coming up with new models every day and are a technology leader in the security space because of, as I mentioned, that vertical integration. So we're finding all kinds of new ways to support our partners and enable their businesses. Today's guest is, of course, familiar to all of you who have tuned into previous webinars, Dave Mayne, the VP of Product Management for Alula. He's got more than 20 years of experience in the wireless device networking business. He's worked at Digi International, GE Security, and Interlogix. He launched 3 interactive security offerings through partnerships with Alarm.com, iControl, and Home Assurance. He served as general manager of the Interactive Services Division of GE Security. He's been issued 5 patents and has been with Alula since April of 2014. Dave, welcome back to the webinar.
Thanks, Kevin. Happy to be here. Looking forward to the chat today.
Excellent. So let's set the stage. This is really about making it easier on our partners to be more efficient as they're installing these security systems, right, Dave?
Exactly right, Kevin. We're all, we're focused here at Alula on trying to manage account creation cost and really total cost of ownership for our partners. And one of the things, we've designed a platform in Connect Plus that's very modular, it's very flexible, and it gives our partners the opportunity to go to market in different ways. But what we've done here is packaged up all the best features of the Connect Plus platform, enrolled them at the factory, including the enrollment of sensors. And this helps really reduce cost, reduce errors, make sure you have the right products on the truck, and spend less time building the technology and more time building your business. So our focus here is let's make life easier. And our partners are not only the partners that are installing, but our partners in the distribution channel. It's one product that you can put on the shelf, and you know that everything, all the right stuff's going to be in the shopping cart, going to be ready to go out the door and have a successful installation for every technician out there.
Well said, Dave. Now, as we look at the security market, we're used to, of course, self-contained systems on one side, and then, of course, more of these hybrid, the old kind of security in a can model. Dave, where does this kit fit in that space?
Yeah, it's a great point, Kevin, because this is a different architecture of system. Connect Plus is a fully wireless system. We have an ability to take hardwire zones in with an add-on module, but it's built to be a wireless system, and it has a 7-inch touchscreen. And so what we're really doing here is taking all of the consumer value that you see in the self-contained wireless system. And what I mean by that is an intuitive, nice-looking user interface. It's all the features built in one box. You mount it by the wall, and you're ready to go. And that brings a lot of value to the consumer, but it has some limitations that come along that are often overcome by these hybrid systems. So, a traditional security system with a metal can installed in the closet or a utility room, you have a lot of peripheral options. You can add on a lot of features. You can customize it on each install. And what we're talking about here is a platform that gives the best both of those worlds. So with the Connect Plus product, you can install the brains of the system in the interior of the home or business. You can get it right next to the router and plug it in, and by doing so, you get a dual path offering. You have an ability to add multiple touch screens, the same touch screen, into the system, and it's going to interact with the platform in the very same way. It's naturally built for multiple touchpads. So dual path reporting, multiple touchpads. We have a built-in translator into the device to make it easy for takeovers. So what you have with the platform is a lot of flexibility, and it's taking the knowledge and learnings that we have from the entire security market. So no matter what type of system you're used to putting in, you have an opportunity to leverage these kits. And we're building these features in this factory program kit so that it's quicker for you to learn, you can evaluate, and it's quicker for your technicians to get up to speed as well.
That makes a lot of sense, Dave. I know that there's a lot packed into this. Not just the capabilities of the Connect Plus system, but of course the award-winning Connect Plus Touchpad, the Slimline Touchpad that we're going to talk about in a little bit. But let's walk through what you get when you're getting this kit.
Yeah, we have the little X-ray view of the Connect Plus panel in the lower left corner there, and wanted to highlight this because I talked about at the opening the modularity of Connect Plus. The modularity doesn't go away. What we've taken away is any complexity of figuring out which cards to buy. So they're all installed. So you get a cell card and a Wi-Fi card and a Z-Wave card right down inside that panel underneath the hood. They're enrolled, they're installed, they're ready to go. 3-door windows, a motion sensor, a touchpad, ready to roll out of the box. But what we find with many of our partners as they come on board and become more familiar with the modularity, they start to build different, what I call good, better, best types of packages. And this is both product and service packages. We can offer this without cellular backup, IP only, and you get full interactive and alarm reporting on IP. Less cost up front, less cost on a recurring basis, more profits for our partners. That's a great entry point, and then you can start to sell the value of cellular upgrades. You can start to sell the value of automation, and you can start to build packages that really resonate with the customers in your market and what your competitors are doing. So the kits and the focus of this is about we pack the full punch of Connect Plus into a box and keep it simple and give you the maximum opportunity for services. But as you become familiar, you will have the ability to start to pull those pieces away and then tailor it to really meet the competitive landscape that you're faced with day in and day out.
Yeah, Dave, and as you talk about those different pieces, we can actually, you could do a one-to-one comparison of the product if you didn't have it in this kit, because we have the SKU numbers right there. So, Dave, why don't you walk through? And by the way, if you're watching, this is the screen that you want to screenshot and take into the distributor. So this has the information that you would need to order these and to make sure that you get them. Dave, why don't you walk through what all the different part numbers for the different pieces in the kit?
Yeah, as you pointed out, the part numbers of the kits are right down on the bottom there. We're trying to make these more intuitive. C+, Connect Plus as a starting point, what the carrier is, the fact that there's a Z-Wave card, there's a white touchpad, 3-door windows, 1 motion, no fobs. Okay, that's what the 310 means. So there's meaning behind those part numbers. Inside the box, under the hood, when you open that hub, it has an M1 cellular card. We're going to talk more about that in the future. It'll either be an AT&T or a Verizon model. We have a Z-Wave card, a Wi-Fi device link card. This is a card that allows the touchpads to join our own Wi-Fi network. It's battery backed up. It's part of the UL compliant security system, and it gives you the opportunity to have your own network for these devices. We have the white Slimline Touchpad, award-winning. This can be wall or table mounted. It's shown in table mount form here, but it's also very easy to put up on the wall. And if there was already a security system here, I don't care what flavor, there's wires in the wall. We can leverage those wires. We have a terminal block, can power right off and leverage those wires, so it's a nice, clean, wire-free install in the wall. 3 Nanomax door window sensors, and the Nanomax is key. It's small, it's high performance, it's long range. It has all of the features that you get in a standard size sensor. Normally when you go to a small sensor, you give up cover tamper or wall tamper, or you give up external contact support. We have all of those built into this single device. So you have a small sensor already set with double back tape, although it can be screw mounted as well, but it's got 3M high bond tape on it, ready to roll. And then a pet immune motion, which also comes with double back tape or could be screw mounted. I keep bringing up the double back tape because this entire kit not only is factory programmed, but it can be installed up and operating without a single tool. You can set it on the counter next to the router, plug it into power, plug it into the router, stick up your sensors and have a table mount touchpad, and you're up and running. You don't even have to pull a screwdriver out of your pocket. So that's the level of simplicity. If you want, we can do in-wall, full wired on-the-wall mounting, and you can screw mount all the sensors in. We're trying to make this as flexible and easy as possible. And again, in this new world of pandemics and everything else going on, it gives a really good path for a touch-free installation option where it can be a guided tour. And we have tools to help you go through that process as well, if that's going to be suitable in your market.
And again, as we look at those part numbers at the bottom, the only difference is that second letter grouping, that VZ or AT&T. You're just basically, it's a different flavor of the LTE cellular card. Different areas of the country, of course, have different network coverage. So I'm sure you know what's best for your market, so you'll just pick which of those that you want to ask your distributor for.
And
Dave?
To that point, Kevin, real quick, if you're north of the border, anybody up in Canada, we're pretty far north. Kevin and I are sitting in Minneapolis now, but a couple hours north, we cross the border. That's the AT&T model. It will roam onto all of the major networks up in Canada and give full coverage up there. So,
yeah, key point, Dave. We've been getting a ton of interest from Canada. We've got some great distributors up there, so we're very happy to bring this to that market as well. Speaking of a market, let's look at a snapshot of the market and some of these kind of competing all-in-one systems and where Alula stacks up kind of from a price point perspective.
Yeah, and we put this on here. I mean, there's a lot of great companies in this industry, and we never like to go in and bash anybody. There's good offerings out there, but whether you're looking at the systems from Qualsys or Nortec, the GC3, or the Honeywell platforms, or Resideo, sorry, all of these systems are widely used, and people will always compare us to what they've been installing. And I talked at the onset that, we have an architecture similar to the metal can, hybrid traditional systems, but we have performance and capabilities and flexibility that aligns very nicely with these wireless self-contained systems. What we're finding when we look in the marketplace for an equivalent system, we're about 10 to 25% less expensive than those others in the market. And I know prices can vary dramatically. I'm showing our standard dealer pricing here, and I know everybody's going to get some special pricing. My point to this is we're bringing you power and flexibility and uniqueness in the marketplace and an opportunity to differentiate, and we're doing it at price points that are very comparable or better than what anybody's seen in the marketplace, even for these wireless self-contained kits that are out there.
Yeah, this actually came up on our Facebook group recently. And if you're not a member of our Alula Pro Facebook group, I encourage you to join right now. We'd be happy to have you. But yeah, this is what you want to do in terms of when you look at that, that total cost of ownership. This is what you want to compare it to. These are the other kits that are in market with the same essential setup. Some of them have a few less sensors, perhaps. But then, of course, also keep in mind the interactive service pricing and the savings that you can get there as well.
And that's a great point, Kevin, because we do, I know Todd, who heads our sales team, has conversations all the time about look at the total cost of ownership over the first 2 years, over the first 3 years. And there are some providers out there that are getting very aggressive on their hardware pricing, but then they're also selling the services associated with that hardware at a higher rate to make up for the difference. And so there's a lot of ways that you can slice and dice your cost of operating this platform, and make sure you look at all of those pieces, and we'd be happy to have that conversation with you and sit down with a piece of pencil and paper and start to hammer that out.
Yeah, it's funny. The model you talk about there almost reminds me a little of some of these furniture rental agencies where by the end of the 2 or 3 years, you paid 2 or 3 times as much as if you had just paid up front for the equipment. And so you do have to factor in that total cost of ownership over the full life of the account, which hopefully will be well longer than 3 years. And because of our interactive services and the fact that we own the best security network in the business, we're able to factory pre-enroll these kits, which is ultimately the value that we pass along to you in terms of making it so easy to install right out of the box. Dave, talk about factory pre-enrollment. I mean, it doesn't sound exciting, but when you think about how it actually works, it actually does get to be kind of exciting.
Yeah, the way I look at it, anytime you're adopting a new platform or a new technology, there's a learning curve. And what we're doing is removing that learning curve. And I tell you what, the learning curve is not the first time we engage with the company. It's every time you hire a new technician, every time you hire a new salesperson. There's an ongoing learning curve in understanding how the system works, what components you need. And what we try to do across the board is make you go visit a property one time at most, and then from, remotely manage and remotely service that account from that point forward. It doesn't always happen that way, but that's the goal. So with this, you get all the right equipment on the truck to complete the job. You know what you're going to get. You have automation. You have cell backup. You have a touch screen. You have all the sensors. You aren't going to make any mistakes, and you're going to have the right things on the truck to complete that job. It's going to reduce your inventory levels. It's going to reduce your time to productivity for your technicians as well. We have a lot of online training tools, and we're continuing to enhance that. And then we're factoring that in with these pre-programmed kits just to make sure that your techs get up to speed very quickly. Lower your account creation cost and lower your time to productivity for employees. We've also actually discounted the products. If you buy these pieces individually, because you're getting it in a kit, because you're getting more features and more capabilities, we're building discounts in. So if you price this individually, it's going to cost you more. And then finally, we start to look at the opportunity of how do you then build your business around Connect Plus. And at the bottom, that's where I highlight this good, better, best packages. And this is not only for equipment, but for services. If you don't have cellular, you don't pay for cellular up front for the hardware, and you don't pay recurring for cellular. This keeps your costs lower. Dual path connectivity, and this isn't just dual path for alarm reporting. This is dual path for all interactive services. Cell networks do go down. There's times where cellular is not available, and we'll be able to carry over and do broadband for both. And we can run just broadband and have a very low cost up front and low operating cost system for you. So a very flexible product, but the goal out of the gate is time to productivity, reducing time of install, and ensuring that you have the right products, the right things on the truck to complete the job. That's going to keep your costs lower.
Yeah, David, I want to emphasize something you mentioned at the beginning there about time on site. And it may not sound like much to save 10 or 15 minutes on site, but it does add up. It adds up quick. And it's even more important during this time. A lot of customers are a little bit nervous about having people in their homes right now. And so the less time that you can spend there, the quicker, more efficient you can be, the more professional you can be in accomplishing that, the better it's going to be ultimately for that customer, and it's going to start the relationship off on the right foot. And in some cases, you may not even have to visit the site, but we'll talk about that in a minute. First, let's talk about the Slimline Touchpad. Dave, we are winning awards left and right for this. It's really catching people off guard and setting the industry on fire. So let's talk about the Slimline Touchpad. Why is it so exciting?
Yeah, and Kevin, I mean, this really comes down to having a complete and intuitive user interface. Your entire business is represented by the device that people interact with every day. And the Slimline Touchpad is that device. This is the representation of the service that you're charging your customers for. You want to be able to have something that's going to give them a full experience. Security, video, and automation in a nice, easy, intuitive way. You see in the picture there, you can swipe on the right-hand side and pop between cameras. You can pop from cameras to automation devices. You can see your detailed security information all right there on that screen. It is very intuitive. And it is easy to use, and I think most importantly, it looks exactly like the app that they'll have on their phone. So it's one time to train, one type of user interface to operate. That keeps your service costs down, it keeps the frustration of your customers down, and the system and platform always behaves the same way. A couple other points, the fact that it can be table or wall mounted, And when I say table mounted, it is designed to look like it's supposed to be on the table. It does not move around when you push on the screen. It is a clean, modern look that has a very optimized viewing angle so that it's a clear image from normal operating height. And when it's on a wall, we also carry an angle because any touchscreen device, any type of visual device has certain angles that it's hard to view. We make sure it's mounted at a slight angle so it's easy to operate for the average height person. And again, can be powered right off of wires in the wall, so it's a nice clean install. And one other thing I'm going to highlight, our focus here is on the Connect Plus kits. This same touchpad can be used with our award-winning BAT Connect communicator. So if you happen to have a lot of customers with Honeywell Vista panels or DSC Power Series panels or NX panels or whatever they happen to be, we can hook right up to the bus and have this same user interface operate and replace keypads on the wall there. This is yet another, it's off topic for this particular webinar, but it's worth highlighting because when you build your business around an Alula partnership, you can carry that not only in your go-forward business, but you can carry that same user interface, that same look and feel to all of your existing customers.
Absolutely. They can carry the same part and use it on either a new install or a takeover. And we all know the world of consumer home touchscreens has advanced by leaps and bounds in the past several years. So you really need to be able to compete with the best consumer-friendly interfaces that are out there. And that's what we've done with this touchpad and with the ability to have 4 of these on one system. All of them having the same level of control. So Dave, talk a little bit about the Alula experience and that user interface and how important it is that it is the same whether you're on the cell phone or on the touchpad.
Yeah, you know, and we've been highlighting this, and I actually heard feedback from an end customer who put the system in recently, and our dealer forwarded some messages from them saying they love the fact that this looked the same, and they were actually, it was a takeover system, so they were coming off of a different interactive platform, and they were amazed that we could carry and deliver that same user interface in the home and outside the home. I brought it up on the previous slide. It comes down to training and comfort level, and we spent time in designing our user interface not just by engineers who design and build, you know, security systems. We went to an outside group and had them really optimize the workflow on what a consumer expects when they're interacting with their home. We framed it up to say we're going to do security, video, and automation devices like locks, lights, and thermostats. And they did user groups and they did focus groups with consumers coming in to identify the best way to represent these types of functions and the best way to have all of that delivered in a graphical way. And we implemented that in our app to start with and then into the touchpad. And our view is it should look the same throughout. And the reason others don't is because they aren't vertically integrated. You open with that, Kevin. If you don't make the panel, if you don't make the system that's in the home, it's hard to make your app look like it because you don't control their roadmap, you don't control their priorities, and you don't have as much logic running down in that piece of hardware. We own the whole ecosystem and are able to carry that forward, and we used an outside firm to help make it ideal based on feedback from consumers, and then we're carrying that forward. And I think another important thing, apps get updated all the time. And we update our apps just like every other app you use on your phone. But we also update our touchpad and we update our panel. And new features and capabilities are brought down to our customers. If you talk to our partners, 6 months ago, maybe 9 months ago, I can't remember exactly when we released it, the touchpad didn't have video on it. It now has video. At that point in time, the touchpad didn't talk. It now has audio feedback. It'll tell you system and zone. And these are features that we automatically deliver down to those devices. So you can choose to hold it back, but you can bring that to your customers. And if you refresh that service that they're paying for, they're going to pay for that service a lot longer. So there's a lot of value in working with us because we try to keep you current. We keep you current, you keep your customers current, and everybody wins.
Yeah, and I know everyone on this call is pretty tech savvy. But you may have someone in your life, maybe a mother or a father, who maybe isn't quite with it when it comes to the latest smartphone technology. And so it really helps to have this common interface where you only have to teach them one way of doing things. Once they know how to do it on their phone, they know how to do it on the touchpad and vice versa. You're not going to get those calls in the middle of the night asking how to do something. God bless them. But one of the most exciting parts about the touchpad is the integration of video, because now you can actually look on your nightstand, look on your kitchen counter, and have that view of who's at your door, what's outside your house. So, Dave, talk about how we've integrated video into this system.
Yeah, I mean, people, we're all very visual animals, and we like to see what's going on. And so we tried to bring that experience of, first off, doorbells are a big thing in every installation. And there's one company currently owned by Big A that helped create this little craze for doorbells in the marketplace. But that's creating pull-through for every one of our partners because we can build and install doorbells into the system. What do you want to have happen when a doorbell rings? Well, first off, you want to be able to notify people of it, and we notify through the app, but we also notify through the touchpad. It'll pop up, you touch, it'll say somebody's at the door, you hit that notification, it'll open up the video right down to that doorbell, and now you have an opportunity to see that firsthand on the touch screen. So notifications come through. You can view all clips, you can do live view. All of these functions are made available in the touchpad and in the app. One thing I didn't mention on the touchpad, and it'll probably be a question that'll come out, is, yeah, Dave, but sometimes I put touchpads in a bedroom. I don't know if I want all this talking and all this video and everything happening there. Every touchpad is individually configurable, and there's settings for be quiet, be dark, don't make noise, and you even have quiet periods, and you can set a time window where that touchpad will be quiet. So we built a lot of flexibility into it, and it's configurable by touchpad. But in terms of video integration, every one of our cameras can be viewed on both the app and the touchpad, and all notifications come through instantaneously to these devices so that you have a fully interactive system.
Yeah, Dave, you mentioned that video doorbell, RE703. I think that's a must for any modern security system. When I talk to my friends, that's the first thing I ask them is whether they also have included a video doorbell in the system. I had a guy coming around my neighborhood the other day, knocking on doors, being a pest, wouldn't leave. And I talked to him through my video doorbell. There was no way I was opening that door. So I think it is just a must and something that should be integrated into any customer if possible. Now, one of the things is where we mentioned the sunset earlier. We kind of glancingly talked about it, but sunsets are a real problem. I mean, just recently, some customers of a cellular network accidentally got an email that scared them because they heard that their cellular network is shutting down, 3G. And certainly it's not something you should be scared of. It's something that you have control over and power over. But you definitely also don't want to make a problem for yourself tomorrow by doubling down on a piece of technology that's ultimately going to sunset. So, Dave, we've solved that problem for our partners, and this is one of the things that I'm just so proud of.
Yeah, we use a cellular technology called CAT-M1, or Category M. It goes by different names, but here's what it really means. It is cellular networks sunset for one primary reason. All of us want more stuff down to our smartphones and down to all the devices that are connected up on cellular networks. So they need more bandwidth, and so they introduce new technologies to bring really high bandwidth stuff, streaming Netflix and videos and all the things we do on these phones. They push all that content down, and they allocate their networks to get more bandwidth, and they invest in technologies to make that happen. Interesting thing is, security doesn't need a lot of bandwidth. We need to have good, reliable coverage. And so as they move networks to 5G, they allocated a piece of the 4G network to carry along that is for lower bandwidth applications, and it's called Category M1. And that's what we're leveraging in here. The benefits it brings, You don't get a giant pipe to do all kinds of entertainment content, but you get an adequately sized pipe for everything we need to do. And by having less bandwidth, we can be farther away from a tower to get coverage. So we have better range to the tower. We operate in the 4G world. It's defined and carries into the 5G world as well. And 5G tends to be optimized for metro or urban areas, not so much the outskirts of any city. 4G has longer range, so 5G is built on little micro towers. So we're leveraging this cool new technology that operates better than typical LTE in the 4G world and carries into 5G. It draws less current, so it works well in security environments when you want to have long battery backup, and brings all the benefits that we have that we really need for our markets. And again, with our platform, we're dual band as well. So no matter what happens, we operate in 4G, we'll operate in 5G. If they go to 6G or 7G, we'll still have broadband available, and this system will operate, really indefinitely, because I don't see them sunsetting internet. So we have a lot of flexibility in this platform, and we like to stay on that, early stage technology development. Our R&D team is hands down the best I've worked with in my career, and they're always looking for ways to kind of give us a leg up and give our partners a leg up.
Yeah, and speaking of that, some people get confused because they don't see that external antenna either on the Connect Plus or, of course, on the new BAT Connect. They may be used to those external antennas on the BAT LTEs. But as Dave just explained, this new technology allows for better penetration of hard-to-reach areas, and so we're able to leverage that to have an internal antenna that's actually better than those previous generations that were external. Another thing that's better is to have your own purpose-built security network. And the reason for that is because it allows you to really have this lockdown encryption. So Dave, I know it's a complicated subject, but give us a high-level overview of Alula's encryption.
Yeah, in encryption, it's all about protection, as you kind of opened with protection, and there's different things you have to do in order to protect the communications going on. One thing is encryption, and every one of our paths of communications is fully encrypted, including the sensors. So the sensors into the panel is encrypted. All of the communications, I showed the picture that showed all these cards. We even encrypt the communication between cards on our board. So if anybody happened to physically hack into the board, it's still encrypted data, the path all the way up to our platform and network. Another technology that's talked about a lot is authentication, and we have, a VPN connection, a virtual private network all the way down to the carrier. So when we have an AT&T or Verizon network, we aren't bouncing anything out in the, open internet world. We have this going through a private network back to our back-end system. And authentication is validating who we're talking to and who we're speaking with. And every connection, whether it's from an app connecting up to our platform or a device connecting up to our platform, is 100% authenticated. There's a key exchange which is used to encrypt the data, and then messages can be sent securely between those. And we use encryption, the same level of encryption on these connections that you get in banking transactions or other things. You always have to stay a step ahead. The other thing we do is we do external penetration testing. So we bring firms in that actually try to break our system. We do that because it matters to you, it matters to us, and it matters most importantly to your customers. So our entire focus is around encrypting and protecting all data and all transmissions so that your customers can be confident in the technology you're installing in their home or business.
Yeah, this is becoming an increasingly important subject in the home security industry. We've all seen those terrible news reports about people hacking into cameras, talking to children, pretending to be Santa Claus. It really gives a black eye to the industry. So your customers may ask, and this is why we're talking about this, is it's important to be able to talk to them and let them know that having this purpose-built security network, the Alula network, is the difference between professional-grade smart security and some of those consumer systems that we've seen hacked in those well-publicized incidents. The other thing that having your own network allows you to do is you get to optimize for a security system, and that means that you can be faster where it counts. So, Dave, let's talk about our network speed.
Yeah, it's one of the things. So I think, kudos to everybody on the call. We're part of an industry that really made IoT happen. If any of you have heard of the IoT, Internet of Things, which is a craze that seems to be catching on with the entire world, well, the security industry has been doing IoT since before IoT was an acronym. We've been putting in connected homes and connected business and allowing people to remotely control it for decades. And that's a great thing. But because some of this technology was designed before cellular networks were really good at carrying data, and before everybody had, internet broadband access into their homes, the architectures were set up to be a little bit slower. You'd push a button and it might take 10, 20, 30, 40, even 60 seconds before it would respond. And 15 years ago, it was still pretty cool just that you could maintain connections. But now the expectations of your customers are for speed. When you push a button, it has to happen. If it's raining and you want to unlock the door, you don't want to wait for 37 seconds. You want that door to open. Well, with our system, you have to wait for 38 milliseconds, not 38 seconds. That is the difference. You push the button and it happens. And that is mostly around the architecture. We were IP first. So we're, broadband, Ethernet, Wi-Fi connected. You don't have to be. It's still faster over cellular because we maintain active connections with all of our devices. When you log into the app and push the button, it's instantly going down to that device. Same speed or nearly the same speed if you're doing it through the app versus the touchpad. It's that fast. And speed matters for alarm signaling as well. We need to make sure that help happens. We're doing more with our platform to protect the perimeter, to notice things before they happen. We have outdoor sensors, motion and door window sensors. We have an outdoor siren coming next month. We're doing, and outdoor cameras, we're doing things to protect the perimeter, but we also want to make sure that notifications get through and help is provided as quickly as possible, and network speed really matters for all of these things.
Yeah, absolutely. For good or for evil, we have become very impatient as a society. We want it now. And if you even wait that 10 or 20 or 30 seconds, people are going to keep pressing that button. And in some cases, they're going to overload the system, and it's going to require some kind of a troubleshooting. So you definitely, speed makes a difference in more ways than one. I mentioned it earlier, the importance of low-contact installations. And that's a real value of these kits. So, Dave, talk about how this does make it so much more efficient and so much faster.
Yeah, we've had a number of our partners who are trying to find ways to get creative in this new world where people have some anxiety of strangers coming in and doing service work. And you brought up the point before, just saving 10 or 15 minutes in an install is going to make a difference. But it's giving opportunities for people to even have a guided walkthrough with their customers. And I think we're going to talk a little bit about that in an upcoming slide, but there are ways to do a faster install in the home, and there's ways to help guide somebody through. I mentioned we happen to have a system, this pre-configured kit, that not only is self-programmed, but it's also a no-tools installation. It is very possible to guide somebody through that process and really make their life easier. They feel good about it. And when things settle down and we have vaccines or we learn more information, now you can go and do a check through and a walkthrough of that system. We also have a lot of tools that help not only your technicians but leave behinds to make sure that that customer is not going to have to call you back and get a refresher on how something operates or strangeness that's happening. So we try to reduce all of the programming anxiety up front, keep the time as low for any technician that goes in, build a system that could be guided through remotely, and then provide all the tools on the back-end system to remotely diagnose what's going on and tools to help guide people through the operation of that so that they have minimal interactions with people in this pandemic world.
Yeah, I mean, we built this to make it easier on technicians, to make it easier for them. It just so happens that it also made it easy for this new world with COVID, where everyone is kind of adjusting to how they do business. And some of our partners are doing this pro-guided user install. So Dave, for those who haven't tried it or are thinking about trying it, how would this work?
Yeah, some of this is the fact that, again, the no tools, no programming install, and I think on the next slide you're going to talk about some of the materials we have that can go with this package that really allow people who are increasingly tech savvy. I think my generation, I'm probably at the age where, Google didn't exist until 20 years ago, and smartphones didn't exist till 15 years ago. So things have changed pretty rapidly, but there's a whole segment of market that's now looking for security systems that have grown up with technology. They aren't afraid of it, and actually they embrace it and look forward to being involved on the front end of this. And the fact that we have something that, number one, it doesn't need programming, so you don't need to go through 3 days of tech training to figure out how to do it. And number two, doesn't require a lot of tools or any modifications to the home or apartment that it's going into. It really allows people to engage and just guide them through over the phone. Here's your package. It shows up at the door. Call this number when you get it, and we can step you through this. And we've even built online tools and videos that can be shared and shown to these customers to really walk them through that process. So I think, some of it is the kit and the fact that it has all the pieces in and it's ready to roll. And the other element is kind of the tools and the always-on remote connectivity that allows you to be on the phone and observe exactly what they're doing as they're doing it. When they open the front door, it shows open on our Alula Connect platform that the dealer has access to, so you can see that they did that properly. You can see that they installed this with a magnet gap that's appropriate, so when the door is closed, it shows that it's closed. You can validate all that remotely, and you can just guide people through that process. And then at some point, you can go do an inspection, but quite honestly, with the tools we have today, with cameras and videos and picture exchanges, and all the tools that Kevin, your marketing team, has built, I think a phone-guided tour or a phone-guided walkthrough is very acceptable, and you'll be able to validate everything in real time on the Alula Connect platform.
Yeah, Dave, you mentioned those marketing materials, and we know that this is a new world for us in a lot of ways, and one of the things that involves is having to talk to customers differently or reach out to them differently. If you can't do it face-to-face, if you can't shake their hand, but you still want to show them your brand and that it matters. And so we've created these leave-behinds for you. And if you look in the upper right-hand corner, you can see that you can actually add your logo and your contact information to it on our Partner Resource Center. And so it looks like it comes from you. You are the one whose face is forward to the customer on this. And as you can see, we've got a quick start guide to show them how to quickly get up to speed with their new system. We've got one devoted to the Slimline Touchpad, telling them what each of the buttons does. And of course, we've got one for the cell phone app as well. So these just make it much easier for you to give something to your customer, even send it to them electronically. And that way they have something that can answer their questions, even if you're not there. And of course, they can give you a call for the harder stuff. And Dave, one of the harder things that we see out there is this sunset and the burden that it imposes on our partners. And so we've done our best with this to help them on that level as well, and to make all of this a little easier. Why don't you tell them about our sunset rebates?
Yeah, and what we built into our rebate program is really, if you're going to deal with a sunset, nobody wants to face that, but you have an opportunity to do a couple of things. Number one, you get to revisit your customer, and I think while you're doing it, you get to upgrade them and bring them to the world of new technology. So we tailored the sunset rebate really to drive and motivate our partners to bring more services to their customers. Why do we want that? Well, number one, more services generally means more RMR for our partners, and that is the name of the game here in the security world, as we all know. Let's keep costs low and get RMR high. That's the perfect formula to win. So let's drive down that path. And in bringing value, attrition rates tend to go down. You're going to connect that technology to people's lives. If you add video and you add automation, locks or thermostat or any types of controls like that, it becomes a bigger part of that customer's life. They're going to stay a satisfied customer much longer. You'll get more recurring revenue in the process, and we want to try and drive that. We're also driving it just selfishly. Alula we're a newer player in the marketplace by brand, but our company has been around a long time. But over the past 3 years, we've advanced the technology, we believe, dramatically in terms of our ability to provide interactive services, to provide automation services, to deliver video. And we find value in feedback and partners that embrace that. They become true partners. We get feedback from them on our roadmap. And so we want to drive that because it helps us as a company, it helps our partners, and it helps the consumers that are using these services.
Yeah, and if you're going to go out there and deal with the sunset problem, don't approach your customer by saying, "Hey, I got to come out and replace your radio." They can't see that. It doesn't feel like an upgrade to them. So you really want to lead with the Slimline Touchpad. Tell them you're coming out to give them the hottest new interface that's going to allow them to control their security system with their fingertips, either from their kitchen counter or from their bedroom nightstand. And while you're there, oh, by the way, you're going to replace that radio and make sure that it's not just going to be fine for 4G, but also when we get to 5G. And so, yeah, you really want to show them something tangible that will make them appreciate the upgrade that they're getting here. Dave, thank you so much for taking the time to walk us through these Connect Plus kits. We've gotten a lot of market interest about it. A lot of people are asking about this new system. What would you say to everybody who's thinking about going to the distributorship and picking one of these up?
Well, I two things. I want feedback. I want the good and the bad. I don't think you'll find any bad. I think if you pick one of these things up, you're going to open the box and go, "Wow, this is really cool," and I want to hear that. But I also want to hear your ideas on how could it be even better? What are things that you're seeing in the marketplace that are unique? Our roadmap is your roadmap, and that's my job here, is to kind of pick that out. I love to get that feedback. So I'm looking forward to that, and I'm looking forward to, what's new in your business and what's new in 2020 that didn't exist in 2018, 2017, 2019. We need to stay current, and we need to keep that conversation open. So I appreciate being here, Kevin. I look forward to ongoing dialogue with everybody, and I look forward to more and more people trying out the Alula platform.
Thanks, Dave. And that's a great place to kick off the Q&A. You ready to take a few questions?
I'd love to. Let's do it.
All right. All right, we've got a great crowd here today, over 100 of you in the audience. Thank you so much. We know there's a ton of excitement out there around this new Connect Plus kit. We're going to go right to Dave with some of these questions. Dave, do I have you?
I'm right here.
All right, so let's start at the top. Paul is asking, for the new Connect Plus kits, is there a user manual that you can share with the end user?
I suspect what he's talking about is probably for the touchpad and app, which I think we covered right towards the tail end of the presentation. Yes, if you become part of our Partner Resource Center, we have plenty of end-user guides, end-user written form, there's videos, and a variety of other things that you can use to help explain. Every one of our products does come with an install manual, more for the technician side, but we do have those pieces available that you can leave with your customers.
Excellent. Next question comes to us from Jose Quintero. He is asking, what is the compatibility with wireless transmitters from other manufacturers? This is a very important question to him.
Yeah, we, so Alula, we're the takeover leaders in many ways. We have translator products that are widely used that will convert hardwire zones to wireless, convert from one form of wireless to another. And we built a translator right into the Connect Plus panel And you can enroll sensors right into that device, wireless sensors, or you can use a hardwire translator to take hardwire devices in. So both can be added. We're making some improvements to the translator right now. Anybody who has experience with this, historically we didn't take in life safety devices. These sensors have, historically, well, they always have a limited useful life, although more recent models can last for 10 years, so we're more comfortable adding those into the mix. And so you're going to see us be able to take over life safety devices, smokes and COs, as well as, I'll say, an easier enrollment of some other specialty devices from other manufacturers. So all that can be built right in. The part number is RE934ZT. Z-Wave Translator is what the ZT stands for, so you can get those parts if you need them.
Excellent, Dave. And I'm going to try to run through these pretty quick. They're actually building up faster than I can ask them. So just a quick follow-on from Jose. He notes that the Slimline is available in a desk mount and wall installation. That's actually in the same package. You get to choose. But he actually is asking if we have any thought of maybe doing a flat flush to the wall version of it for certain installations. Have we thought of that as an option?
We have it out there. Yes, it's the we have one. It's RE657WF for flat. It's a white flat mount, and it's good for covering up big, I call them wall warts, but basically openings where there was a larger panel there previously.
So there you go, Jose. Now, Sunil has a question. This is actually kind of an interesting logical question. Can I use the touch screen and the doorbell camera together without having a Connect Plus panel?
Well, so we always expect to have a security system there, and we're selling to security professionals. We do have a product called Bat Connect, which is a device that'll hook up to, Honeywell, DSC, NAPCO, NX, a variety of the kind of traditional architected panels, and you can add a doorbell to that. You can add our video without any sort of security, just a standalone video, but the touchpad does expect one or the other device, either a Connect Plus or a Bat Connect, to be present in the home before the touchpad becomes viable. And a lot of it's because most of the logic around that app is security related. There is some video functionality, but most of it's security related. So if you want just standalone camera, feel free to do it. And give them the app if you want to add the touchpad tied up with a security system as well.
Great. A lot of people saying amen to Slimline flat mount in the chat. Looks like there's a lot of interest in the flat mount version as well. Thanks for that question, Sunil. Matt Dawson is asking, can a partner request different sensors be enrolled in the kit? And actually, later on, Matt, he said, I would love to see other sensors pre-enrolled, such as the Trident. We know that Trident is a super popular sensor, that 3-in-1. Dave, what about that? What about people who want to customize like that?
Yeah, I mean, coming out of our factory, we're doing we call them the 310 kits, 3 doors, a motion, and those are all pre-enrolled. We do have a couple of our distribution partners who are doing custom kits, and they're working with dealers to really bring unique kits to market, whether it's a consistent kit or a on-demand order type of a process. So reach out to the sales rep here, and I know Kevin will give all the contact information, and we can put you in touch with one of our partners to get a custom kit fulfillment rolling.
Yeah, that's 1-888-88-ALULA is our hotline, and we'll get you right to the right person. You can also, if you have any trouble, reach out to me. I'm at kevin.hoffman@alula.com. Next question comes to us from Trisha Campo. I've not seen these prices at the dealer. And later she does ask, too, what's the recommended retail on the kit? So I know we had a slide that spoke a little bit to that there, Dave, but maybe you could talk a little bit about what kind of pricing they should expect to see.
Well, the pricing you saw there is what we call our standard dealer pricing. Retail pricing we don't get into. Every dealer goes to market in a different way, and some will subsidize their hardware and installation, some will charge for installation. So what the consumer pays is totally up to our partners. We try to provide dealer pricing there. as noted in the presentation, these kits are being offered at a discount. We looked at the market overall, looked at, what are the other security panel manufacturers putting together and putting for pricing out in the marketplace. We wanted to be competitive on that front, and it's a good value, and it's probably about 10% off of Mayne individual components if you buy it as a kit. So retail pricing, though, is totally up to you.
Yeah, and in fact, we can't talk about pricing incredibly publicly, but if you talk to your rep, they will have a private conversation with you about pricing, and they'll be able to show you where the cost savings are and work with you on that. So, Dave, here's a big open-ended question from Alton, and he speaks for a lot of people. There's a number of other questions around this. I'll let you decide how much you want to go with this, but hey, Kevin, any news on new cameras?
Oh yeah, this is so video has really taken off, I think, in the industry as a whole. As we kind of mentioned earlier, we're always looking to expand our camera portfolio, and where we have gaps, we don't have any battery-powered cameras, we don't have any PoE cameras. We're probably more residential focused into maybe light commercial, but we're going to be expanding into all those areas. I think you'll see us roll out battery PoE and commercial offerings as we get into 2021. Our current supplier has a couple of new models. There's a new doorbell model coming next year, and a battery-powered doorbell, a variety of other things. So I'd say most of it will probably hit right after we get through the turn of the year, but there will be plenty of expansion that we have planned on that front.
Thanks for the question, Alton. There's a ton of very fun news coming on that front. Next question from Daly. John Daly asks, if we do a takeover with this, will it pick up SIA?
Oh, so that's probably more applicable to our Bat Connect product, which is a communicator that will connect up to other manufacturer security systems. Today we support tip and ring, which means basically we simulate a phone line and we can tap into the phone line and take the signals. It's contact ID only today. We are coming out with a commercial communicator in the fire market, which is also looking to take on SIA, and we'll probably bring that into Bat Connect as well. Probably a couple quarters out, but right now contact ID pick up from the panels. Most of our panels we support, though, are full bus connected, and we get full interactive services, can add automation and video, and reporting formats don't matter in that case because we're basically picking up all the information right off the bus.
All right. Next question comes to us from Don Higgins. Before I read it, Don gave us a really sweet testimonial, so I just have to read this out loud. Don says, I am very happy with the product and your tech support is great. I am retired out of Honeywell and this is my retirement installing Alula. I'm sold. Don, we love hearing from you. We love having you. Thank you so much for joining and being an Alula Pro. Dave, I'm sure you'd love to hear that too, huh?
No, that is great. Yeah, no, and keep feedback coming as you have observations, Don. Just shoot notes over into the Facebook group or contact us directly. I love hearing from you.
So Don and a few others had similar questions. With this COVID-19, we've seen some backlogs of all kinds of products in all kinds of different categories with supply chain disruptions related to COVID-19. So no surprise, the security industry is also seeing some of that, and some people are having some trouble finding product at their local distributors. What can you tell us about that and how the supply chain is meeting the need?
Yeah, I think this is a concern for everybody. We all have to run businesses, and COVID definitely had an impact in a few areas. Number one, just component supplies. China was shut down for a period of time early in the stages. There's a little ripple effect of that. Now there's less transportation going back and forth. There's fewer planes and ships and other transport mechanisms, which are slowing things down. All of this seems to be catching up, and I think across the board, the entire industry is starting to catch up. We've shifted our supply chain, and much more of it's coming from right in the North American region, and that is helping us keep pace with things, and we have a very good supply of really all of our core products, the BAT Connect, the Connect Plus, and translators, and all of these are picking up as we get through the later part of July and into August. Where we've had probably some challenges, the demand for our Slimline Touchpad, which is supported on both our BAT Connect and Connect Plus, has created some hurdles, and a lot of that's just growth related, a lot of interest in the marketplace. And then as we've been moving our supply chain again I'll just say avoid some of the challenges that you have in trying to get things across the ocean. That had some short-term ripples, but it'll have long-term benefits where we're going to have a very consistent flow of products rolling out of here. So look for that to all change here as we get into August. And if you're going to start coming on as a partner, just work with your rep, and we'll make sure that we factor everybody into our demand plan and have plenty of product for everybody to install.
Excellent. Definitely let your Alula rep know if you've experienced any difficulty finding it at the distributor. We can solve those challenges for you and work with our wonderful distributor partners. I saw some of that in the comments, so thank you to our great distributors who were able to leap in there and help out those customers who are looking for product. Next up, Lonnie asks, will the system work with Echo Dot or with Google Home?
We do have integration with both the Alexa and Google Home for status arming and disarming with our Connect Plus product. So yep, we do have that integration in place. And we have some tools on how to download that skill. So
absolutely. In fact, I actually just posted those on the knowledge base this week. I updated that, so I posted it in the comments. Click through on that link. If you have any trouble finding it, kevin.hoffman@alula.com. I'll send you the link for either. Just specify whether it's Google or Amazon Alexa, because we work with both, and we have two different documents for both of those. Real quick, Tricia is asking the name of the Facebook group. We have a wonderful group on Facebook. It's the Alula Pro Installer Group. I saw about 20 of you just joined now, so I'll be welcoming you to the group shortly, and we will continue this conversation after the webinar on the group, so happy to have you there. Thank you, Tricia. Larry asks, does this support smoke or CO alarms or duress codes?
Yes, to all of those. So we have smoke and CO for Connect Plus. We have duress codes that can be programmed in as well. And even in the BAT Connect world, we can support basically anything in the panel from duress code support, because we just pass right through to there.
There you go. Yes to all. Next question from Aurelio Gomez. Hi. Video integration, is it with Z-Wave or Wi-Fi?
The cameras we have connect up to a Wi-Fi network and are accessible through the cloud from there. So there's no Z-Wave integration. Some of our cameras have built-in PIRs for movement detection, and but all of them are Wi-Fi connected. Some of them are, they're all 2.4, and the doorbell camera also has a 5G option as well. But 2.4 is really recommended. It has the lower frequencies tend to have longer range.
Excellent. Now, Dan Dieterl has a question. He's probably familiar with the product. Is the Connect Plus partitionable yet, and does it have an auto arm feature?
We don't have any built-in partitions into Connect Plus. However, it's kind of interesting because you could use multiple Connect Plus panels under a single account for front lobby and warehouse types of applications, but no built-in partitioning. And then what was the secondary question? I lost the second part of it, Kevin.
Okay, that was does it have an auto arm feature?
Oh yeah, auto arming. We have a scenes schedule that can be programmed in, and you can have it program. You can basically set up a scene to arm itself at a certain time of day. So we don't have auto arming, but we have auto arming through a scene.
Got it. Aurelio asks, does Alula have a platform for third-party monitoring?
Our whole platforms for third-party monitoring. We already have integrations with most of the third-party central stations that are out there. I think that's what you're asking, what the question is. If not, clarify. But let us know who you're using, and if we don't have a connection to the central station, we can very quickly. But I'd say we have 90% of the market covered already.
Exactly. And Aurelio, for that matter, if you don't have someone, just ask your Alula rep. We've got a lot of great partners we'd be happy to introduce you to. Question, let's see. Alex is asking, hey guys, do you know if the Alfred Z-Wave door lock is compatible with Alula?
Which Z-Wave door lock?
The Alfred Z-Wave door lock.
I don't know specifically, but if it's a Z-Wave door lock, I'll say 98% chance it's going to work just fine. Some of the door locks have different features that they may or may not expose that are extensions to standard Z-Wave, but for lock and unlock, it would be supported. PIN codes might be the only thing that I'd worry about testing, but I haven't tried that one or don't recognize it anyway.
Okay, Dave, this isn't a question. I just got to read it because it's hilarious. From Damien. Damien, you just made my day. So Damien writes, I had a customer upgrade to alphanumeric Vista keypads. Told him about Alula and the benefits. He said no. Now, after replacing 3 keypads, he wants access from his cell. Installing a Back Connect next week. Wow. Some customers. Well, if you don't get them on the front end, you get them on the back end, right? Okay. Dave, another quick question of interest. Philip is asking for a different style of outside siren. He finds the one that's released a bit obtrusive. Do we have any plans on a new siren anytime soon?
Yeah, for those that don't know, we just released an outdoor siren strobe. It can be fully battery powered or AC powered, and it integrates in with the Connect Plus platform. Again, a nice way to, just kind of, we're trying to do more and more perimeter protection, outdoor door window sensors, motion sensors, and now the siren. And this is used in many parts of the world really as a replacement for a yard sign. So often there's branding put on these devices, and they put it up in Europe and other parts of the world almost as a yard sign. The siren is fairly large as a result because that's kind of one of the targets. It's very loud. We don't have any plans to do alternative versions. However, there are some Z-Wave strobes and sirens, and we're going to be adding more triggers in our scenes engine to trigger those devices, and those can be added in. They aren't tied into the security side as much, but they are an option available. So I think between our siren and some of the Z-Wave, we should be able to cover your applications.
Excellent. Louis Mustelier is asking, how can I participate in the Sunset program? I'm constantly installing Alula on existing Power Series.
Well, Kevin, you can probably point them to the sign-up. I think it's right on our website, but I don't remember which page exactly.
Yeah. Go ahead and talk for a minute, Dave, and I'll get that link in the comments.
Okay, so anybody can participate in the Sunset program, and we have, the cellular sunset. We did some work with Interlogix dealers when Interlogix decided to close the door, and you set yourself up as a partner on our platform, which sounds like you already are, and you'll be ready to participate. And we've simplified the process of submitting everything. I think I saw somebody with a question saying they're going through the process and have been submitting them, and I think we tend to hold them over a quarter and then issue payment out to participants at the end of every quarter, if I remember how the process works. So should be easy for you.
Yep, and I just posted a link, as did Ray. Thank you for the assist, Ray. First step, go to that link. Go ahead and fill it out. I know the person who is in charge of that program, and she is listening right now. And so she loves it when she gets a new influx of applications after these. So please go ahead and fill out that Sunset form if you haven't already. Make sure you claim your eligibility, because you really shouldn't be leaving that money on the table. Let's see. Jose Quintero is asking, can we use the Alula translator with the Connect Plus kit to offer existing customers these new systems?
Alula translator with kit. So two types of translators. If it's a hardwire system, we have a hardwire translator which will take all those zones and it can enroll right into the panel. I think the question's probably aimed at, is the translator built into these kits? We have the Z-Wave card, but not the Z-Wave translator card. So you can still get the kit. If you're doing a takeover situation, you pop the Z-Wave card out of the kit, put the Z-Wave translator in, and you can enroll sensors into it. So we didn't put the translator in, again, from an enrollment standpoint. We can't do that because we don't know what sensors are going to exist on any given property, but we do have the tools that would allow you to use this for a takeover and all the other devices. Even when you put a translator in, you can enroll our encrypted sensors alongside the devices that you're translating into the panel as well. So you get 96 zones of whatever type of RF you need.
All right. Charles Sisto asks, will you be coming out with a fire radio?
A fire radio. Great question. We always try to be very careful when talking about our roadmaps and timelines, but yes, we have a product called Batfire that we will be launching. I've got a couple sitting next to me right here, and we're getting into some of the final stages of getting that kicked into production. So look for that as we wrap up 2020 here.
Excellent. Well, I think that's a great place to end it. Thank you, Dave, for sticking around answering those questions. We had a wonderful, boisterous group of Alula pros, and a lot of them are helping each other in the comments. And we're going to continue this conversation over on our Facebook page, so please join us there. And Dave, hopefully you can even join us over on that Facebook page.
You know well, I'm always out there.
Excellent. And next week we'll be doing another webinar on a topic a lot of you have asked about. I'm going to bring together an all-star team of marketing experts, and we're going to help talk about digital marketing, how to get started really easily. So please tune in for that one as well. Thanks for joining us. See you over on that Facebook group.
That concludes today's call.